Welcome to this week's edition of CEO Corner. I'm Otis Rawl, President and CEO of the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, and we're happy to have with us today Christina Schleifer with Capital Corporation, and is our primary sponsor for the 25 fastest growing businesses in South Carolina. So glad to have you today.
Thank you, Otis. It's always a pleasure. This is our third year doing this, and it's getting better and more exciting every year.
Well, for those people that are unfamiliar about the 25 fastest growing companies in the state, tell us a little bit about the program and maybe why Capital Corp sees it's important and why sponsor.
Sure. The 25 fastest growing companies is really a way for us to highlight those companies in our state that are growing. They're the creme de la creme. They're the companies that are really growing at a fast rate. They're companies that are really making a difference in terms of hiring folks that are really doing a lot for the South Carolina economy. And those companies can range from mid-sized companies to smaller companies to larger companies. The point is that those are the companies that are the backbone of our state. And the Capital Corporation, as investment bankers, you know, we see companies across the board. We do mergers and acquisitions, so we know how difficult it is in the best of times to really have a successful company. Given the fact that the economy has been so tumultuous lately, it is even more rewarding for us to highlight and to really reward those companies that have made a difference.
Well, maybe you want to talk about some of the companies that y'all have named in the past as winners and all, and where they came from in the state and things of that sort.
That's right. We've had, last year was it's very unique because, you know, you always think you're going to get manufacturers or maybe IT. Well, last year's #1 winner was a company that actually made science toys.
Right.
And so when you look at this, you can't just if you're head of a company, if you own your own business, you can't say, well, that's not my type of award. I mean, that's not my type of thing because that doesn't fit my business niche. There's no such things. We had Wild Creations, #1, and then we had a steel manufacturing company, Pegasus Steel, and then we had Barling Bay, who does IT and helps with logistics for the government. So. Three completely different sectors, but all with one thing in common. They were well-run companies that have contributed to the economy of South Carolina.
Well, why should somebody, I mean, what are the beanies? What do companies get out of being identified as the fastest growing? Why should companies
I call it the WIFM. What's in it for me?
Right. Well, that's good.
The WIFM, yeah, that's
nice
right. And the WIFM for these companies is depending on how they look at it. I mean, for morale, for employee morale, to be recognized as one of the fastest growing, because everybody knows that a company is as good as its workforce. Right. And so for morale, it's great. Some companies use it also for clients, in business recruitment and client and workforce recruitment. So they use it to promote how well they're doing. And we also provide a lot of publicity for these companies. Once they win, we have an awards luncheon at the annual Chamber Summit in Wild Dunes, so they get to come up and get their award and you know, be applauded by their peers. And aside from that, they are interviewed in radio, magazine. So there's a lot of publicity involved with being a 25 fastest growing company.
They need to look at the WIFMs then. I know that it's always a big issue for us as we highlight them in our annual magazine and all. So it's pretty big.
It is a big deal. So, it is a big deal.
So what type of companies, and I know you talked a little bit about it a little bit earlier, it could be a steel manufacturing, it can be a science-based toy manufacturing. Who really should be looking, what are the qualifications and what historically has been kind of the benchmark for companies as far as growth to decide whether or not they want to actually put in an application?
Well, we've changed the criteria last year to take not just 2 years worth of growth, but 3 years worth. And so the criteria is very simple. We want companies that are headquartered in South Carolina. You know, we want to honor our own. And they have to be in business more than 3 years.
Okay.
They're going to be judged on % of increase over the 3-year period,
Right.
not only in revenue, but also in employee growth.
Okay.
Because it's important to, we want to also honor those companies that are providing jobs to South Carolina. And as far as revenue, is $3 million in revenue for companies. And now if you're a financial institution, we require a $50 million in assets.
I got you.
So we've got everything in terms of types of businesses. We've had banks in the past. We've had an interior design company in the past, manufacturers, IT, staffing companies. And this year, I'm very encouraged. We're getting nominations in already.
Good.
And we're getting nominations in from companies that have applied in the past, which is also very good. That means they've continued to grow. And we're also getting nominations from first-time companies. So that's very encouraging.
And I'm assuming they're pretty diverse all across the state.
Diverse. They're very
different
diverse.
types of companies and all.
Yes.
Well, I know particularly when we start identifying those types of companies, most of the jobs that are created out in South Carolina are from small growing businesses. And I think the statistics show that 70–80% of all jobs created are in small and developing businesses. And I tell you, another thing that was pretty important is South Carolina is getting to the point where it's kind of a cheap place to live, particularly when you start looking at Charleston, Greenville, Spartanburg. There's a lot of places that young people want to start businesses and grow their businesses.
You know, it's one of those things where there's a part of me that wants to say, yes, Rodas, you know, you go out and you tell everybody how wonderful we are. And another part of me says, shh, we're a good secret. Let's keep it that way. But you're right. You're absolutely right. We have South Carolina. It is these companies that are the backbone of South Carolina. We love the Boeings and we love the BMWs and we love these companies and we welcome them, and they've done tremendous things for our state. But the backbone really is those small to mid-sized companies. And they often go unnoticed. You know, a lot of these bigger companies, just by sheer size, and get the headlines.
Oh, well.
But when we can honor a company like Wild Creations or Pegasus Steel, it really is our pleasure and our honor to do so.
Well, Christina, we surely appreciate the support of Capital Corporation with the 25 fastest growing.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you at our annual meeting and identifying the winners for this year. So thank you once again for being the sponsor.
Thank you for the chamber. You guys are the best. It's really, you spread across the state. You are welcoming to all size businesses, and I think we're very proud to have you as our leader in South Carolina.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us on CEO Corner. Please go to our website and make an application for 25 fastest growing businesses in South Carolina, and hopefully you'll be one of the companies that joins us at our annual meeting.